stuff. I mean, you're talking way above my pay grade here. The governor of New York said the only reason it's happening is because of money, suggesting greed, and President Trump's ego. That's disgusting. Why would he suggest that after what you just laid out?
You know, I don't know, and I don't want to get into that, Bill. I mean, my job is to get the vaccines to the people, to do the research.
But doctor, yesterday you went to the microphone at the White House, and you said for all the people who are afraid of getting this vaccination, I'm here to assure you this was not done out of money or speed, correct?
Right. Well, what happened is that the investment that was made in Operation Warp Speed was a very, very smart and important investment, because what one does with that, you combine the exquisite nature of the technology, which allowed you to do it quickly, with an investment that in fact makes the process go much more quickly, because instead of waiting for one endpoint to go to the next, you make a risky investment. The risk is not to safety. The risk is not to scientific integrity. The risk is to money. So that if the vaccine works, you're months and months and months ahead of the process had you not made that investment. If it doesn't work, you've lost a lot of money.
You gave those companies a financial backstop, no doubt about it. I tell you, one of the questions I get asked the most is, when's it going to be available? When do I get the vaccine? Where do I sign up? Here's the way I see the timeline, just so our viewers understand it. Within a couple of weeks, emergency workers it'll be available, about 40 million of them, I do believe, by the end of December. And those with underlying conditions. I think then we move into 2021. So I think we're going to have this conversation around Christmas time again, because I think it'll be at least Easter before hundreds of millions have access to it. Does that line up with your time frame as of today?
It lines up with a couple of minor corrections, Bill. First of all, when you're talking about doses, be careful. 40 million doses equal 20 million people, because it's a prime and a boost. So be careful about that. Yes, you are correct that by likely the end of December, the people who are in the first tier of prioritization, which has not yet been determined, it will be determined by the CDC together with advice from the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices. It's likely going to be people who are in, healthcare workers and high-risk people, but we'll leave that final decision to them.
Okay, noted on that, yes. Look, we're going to be in this posture until at least April. I think that's the thing to emphasize on this. You talk about schools, you talk about Thanksgiving. I know you're doing a Zoom dinner with your 3 daughters on Thanksgiving. That's the choice you're making. All these states are telling people you can't have more than 10 people in a room. I don't know how America's going to take that. I think Americans have been longing and yearning for a holiday to be with the people they love. I don't know, these people are going to be checking cars in the driveway. But you have assessed your own risk in your family, and you would also encourage other families to assess theirs. Do I have that right?
You have it right. I think you can't make one prescriptive determination for everyone. Everyone's different. Everyone has a different feel for the type of risk they would like to take. The circumstances within families are different. So the only thing that I called for at the press briefing at the White House yesterday was that each individual family unit do a risk-benefit determination that works for you. Because there are some families that you want to just have the family unit that lives in the house. There are a lot of others that are going to have visitors come in. So you say to yourself, do we have in our family a vulnerable person, an elderly person?
That's right. That's exactly right. Yeah.
I mean, that's the point. You've got to make your determination as an individual family unit. I don't say that this is the rules that everyone should do. I'm just asking, pause for a moment and do a determination of the risk-benefit within your family group. And then when you make your decision, that's your decision. No one's forcing anything on you, but it's worth considering. And the reason I say that is that of late, when you look at what the infections that are being driven in this country, a lot of it is innocent, typical family and friends getting together at a dinner or a reception indoors where you let your guard down because you're with people with whom you are familiar, and you tend to think...
It's a great point. Yeah, it's a great point. I think, but my feeling is if that's the case, case, we need to reassess our policies with restaurants here in New York and across the country. If you're going to zero it into the family and direct members there. Just two more points here. President Trump, my impression publicly is that you have a strained relationship. My impression privately is that you get along quite well. How would you score it?
I think so. Well, we do get along quite well. I mean, and I've gotten along quite well with the president for many, many months, right from the very beginning. Occasionally, there's something where there is a disagreement that gets, in many respects, blown out of proportion. And then there are things that are said that get, taken in one context or another. But in general, fundamentally, I have a good relationship with the president.
Do you believe we should rejoin the World Health Organization without guaranteed reforms, sir?
I mean, in this case, it's going to be at somewhat at variance with the president. The president makes some good points that it is a flawed organization. His approach was that if that's the case, we're getting out until they fix it. And I would say, let's try and fix it as we're moving along, because the world does need a WHO. So we both agree that it is a flawed organization. But, how you address that flaw might be different.
Dr. Anthony Fauci, to you and your family, have a good Thanksgiving. To the Trump administration and all involved in Operation Warp Speed on the vaccine, bravo. Well done, sir. And thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
We'll be right back.